Settings. Make sure it's public. Hello, everyone. I'm going to give you all a couple of minutes to come on in. Come on. There we are. How is everyone doing? Hello to everyone on LinkedIn, to everyone on Facebook, to everyone on both of my Facebook pages and YouTube. Good morning, good morning, good morning. We are super excited, as you all know, because you all have heard me talking about this for the last week, the CEO shift. If you are an entrepreneur, you need to get on in here. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Mm. All right, you guys, come on in. So, good morning to everyone. Listen, I'm so excited about our guest today. The first thing I want to do is introduce myself because a lot of you on LinkedIn are just starting to meet me. Many of you, you follow me on my Facebook pages and on Instagram and all of those other good places. But listen, I just want to first introduce myself. My name is Cherie Shepherd, and I am the president and the founder of the National Black Business Owners Association. And we are so excited to have you here. Listen, my motto is bridging the wealth gap through entrepreneurship. And that's what we're all about here at NBBOA. We're more of a grassroots organization. I'm not a chamber of commerce, and I'm answering some of your questions because I get all of these in my inbox all the time. But listen, we are here to empower entrepreneurs. We are here to help startups. We're here to help you scale if you're an existing business. If you're stuck in that six figure, and you're in that sweet spot, that six figure space, and you're trying to scale to seven figures, we have programs available for you. We have programs available for people who are in that seven figure space and you want to take it to that eight figure space. We have something for everyone here at NBBOA. And listen, I'm not going to belabor the time too much, but if you want more information about our programs, how you can be a part of what we're doing, how you can become a sponsor, or a corporate partner, please do not hesitate to reach out to me, either through direct message or by visiting us at www.nbboa.org. That is nbboa.org. And listen, I am going to turn the reins over to Antoine Smith. Antoine is one of our first Founder Circle member. Our Founder Circle is invite only, but I'm telling you, he is a coach 24/7. He can't help it. It oozes out of him. And he's actually he's just a great person. I'm going to let him introduce himself. But his credit he's I have found him to be credible. I have found him to be integral. And that is what, and everybody who knows me, anybody who has attended any of our seminars, our webinars, they know, you guys know, I never bring anybody on and share my platform with anybody with just anybody, right? You all know that I have great reviews, and we're gonna continue to bring you high quality guests, and this is no different. Antoine he's just kind of come in and he mentors me. And he doesn't even, it just happens. That's why I say it oozes out of him. And it's great when people come into your life that can just stretch you, they challenge you. That's how you know that's a person that's supposed to be in your life in season. And Antoine has certainly been that person in my life as a CEO, as a president, and I know the value that he brings. So listen, we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to allow him to introduce himself, to talk about his accomplishments, and to talk about Smith Group and what he has going on, and then we're going to get right into the sneak peek of the CEO shift, mindset, metrics, and momentum. Because I'm telling you, I had my first business, I got stuck. I needed this with my first business. I got stuck in my business and not working on my business. And I know I'm not the only one out there. We're wearing multiple hats and we're making money, but we just can't seem to make it to that next level. This class, this sneak peek, and what we have coming forward in the future is just for you. Antoine, go ahead and introduce yourself, Mr. Smith.
Well, thank you so much, Miss Shepherd. And I am sincerely humbled and grateful and honored for the warm sentiments and the kind statements and regards. I really appreciate it. It just lets me know that, something that my grandmother used to say to me all the time: To whom much is given, much is required. And with that being said, for me, at this particular season in my life, it's all about the ability to serve. I've been tremendously blessed as a former professional athlete, been tremendously blessed in the majority of my business endeavors, because I'm not going to sit here and try to lie to anyone that is on this presentation today to say that it is easy. It is not easy. It is hard. It is significantly hard. It takes a tremendous amount of discipline. It takes a tremendous amount of focus and energy and drive, and even a tremendous amount of faith in order to be successful in any endeavor that you take on in life. And I've had my failures along the way. However, trial and adversity builds character, and it also drives an increased knowledge base so that you should be improving with each failure that you have, lessons learned, make your pivots, and move to the next level. So if you saw me sort of bouncing around and shaking my head as it was getting queued up, there's a song that I've listened to. We used to come out to it in high school, in basketball and football, and it's a song by Genesis or the Phil Collins Band called "In the Air Tonight." And the catch song, or the main lyrics in that song, is, "I've been waiting for this moment for all of my life, and I have really, really been excited and looking forward to this opportunity to have this audience with the NBBOA and its supporters, as well as those that follow me as well in Smith Group, to be able to have this moment, because this is a critical season in the business world and in this country as a whole. This is a critical season relative to the sustainability and the survival of your business. Now, I'm not going to go into a whole bunch of superlatives as it relates to my career, because as you can see by the gray beard, I've been around for a minute, and I've had some experiences over the course of my successes, and things have gone tremendously well for me. So I've been doing this for 30 plus years. I've had my own business models, built them for successful exits, and along the way, others saw my success in what I was doing, and I was consistently being invited to the table to say, hey, could you coach me? Could you advise me? Help me learn how to execute at the level that you execute. I see what you do. I see how you are also very open-minded and collaborative as it works to how you function and deal with other organizations. You're highly documented as it relates to the Harvard Business Review and the Harvard CEO roundtables that I've seen you be a part of. So we want some of that. We want some of that to make us successful. So we've had probably just under 3,000 engagements over the course of a 30-year period. We've built over and driven over $1 billion. I'll say that again, $1 billion in increased revenue for the clients that we've served. And we've done that across almost every business vertical and market sector that you can imagine. So that's what Smith Group does. And we do it very, very well. And we do it in a very disciplined approach, because we understand what it takes to build a sustainable business model. So I'm honored that you would spend time with me here today. And Miss Cherie Shepherd of the NBBOA, you getting ready to drink directly from the fire hydrant, because I'm going to give to you in this short 45 minutes to an hour time that we have today, I'm going to give you lay the foundation for you of how to make the CEO shift. And that shift is a change of mindset, because it's going to require every degree of that in order for you to take it to the next level. Now, Ms. Shepherd said 7 figures. That's good. But my goal here today is to motivate you and inspire you to let you know that 8, 9, and 10 figures are available. One of my mentors used to say to me all the time, and I sort of live by it, why settle for good when great is available? Why settle for good if great is available? And if great is available, then outstanding and excellence is just around the corner. I added that part. So let's go ahead and get started, and let's talk about what you will need to understand about taking those steps to the next level. So, Ms. Shepherd, I will query you periodically through my time today to go ahead and poll the audiences for a few questions so that we can go ahead and get started. So I'll go ahead and start to present here. Okay, so is the screen available? Can you see the slide deck? There we go. All right, good enough. So the CEO mindset shift, just what does it really mean? For you as a business practitioner, a founder, a owner, or whether you are in the C-suite and partnering with someone in a business, what it really, really means to you is this right here, and it's very, very simple. If the dream is big enough, the facts don't matter. I'll say that again. If the dream is big enough, the facts don't matter. Imagine this, if you will. At one point in time, no one has ever climbed Mount Everest. Now you have people that are missing body parts, no arms, no legs, no limbs. They are actually going to the top of Mount Everest. So not only are people climbing Mount Everest, it's an open window opportunity for anyone that has the heart, the will, and the drive to do it, to accomplish it. At one point in time, no one had ever swam the English Channel. They do it now all the time. And the times are getting faster and faster and faster. So if the dream is big enough and your vision needs to be something that is greater than yourself, beyond yourself, something that will inspire you, something that drives you to wake up each and every day. In Smith Gruppe, I do what I do because it is a labor of love for me. I have a passion for what I do. I would do it for free if it wasn't the fact that mortgages have to be paid, utility bills have to be paid. But in my heart and in my mind, I would do it for free because I absolutely love it. And so it's not a job to me. It's not grievous or burdensome for me. It is something that I absolutely eat up all day, every day. I live it and I walk it because I have a passion for it. So make your dream big enough so that the facts will not matter to you as it relates to what may be going on around you. Let's talk a little bit about some things that I learned from Bill Gates and Warren Buffett at a conference some years ago. And what Bill and Warren was talking about on the stage, or because it wasn't that big of it, because it was a very high profile event. There was only maybe around, I would say maybe around 3,000 people in the room. It wasn't a $10,000 or $20,000 arena kind of thing. It was a very intimate environment. But what I learned was, and they both agreed on it once Bill had started out making a comment. He said, don't grossly overestimate and don't grossly underestimate. And so what he meant by this is, and he said this right here, people often grossly overestimate what they can do in their business in a single year. Okay, we are at 250,000 in revenue this year. Next year, we're going to do 2 million. That's grossly overestimating in a 1-year time because you haven't even broke 1 million yet. And then Warren came back and said, Bill, they also grossly underestimate, as you've said, because they grossly underestimate what they can do in 10 years. So if you have a number, and you should have a number, when you started your business, you should have had a number. And that was, I want to be 20 million in book value in 10 years. I want to be 50 million in book value in 8 years. I want to be 200 million in 15 or 20 years if you got started when you were relatively young. You should have had a number. And it should have been projected over a prolonged or period of time, because that's your marker in the future. By December 31st, 2035 or 2040, whatever your number, whatever that date is, that's what you should set as your goal. Don't grossly overestimate what you're going to do in the next 1 or 2 years, because it will intimidate you. The day-to-day challenges in your business will frustrate you in some instances, and it'll cause you to have somewhat of a negative spirit and a negative attitude. You're playing the long game. If you're sincere about building a scalable business enterprise, you're playing the long game, and you're going to have some wins and losses along the way. But that number, whatever that number is out in the future, you need to keep your eyes on that number because that's what you're driving for. One of the books that I read early on in my business career was called A Dream with a Deadline. And that spoke exactly to what Bill and Warren was talking about that day. And it resonated heavily with me. I suggested you buy the book, A Dream with a Deadline, because what it will do is it will educate you on how to say, if that number is 50 million in 10 years, I want to go out to 10 years and work back to the present day. Break it down. How much did that 50 million equate out to on an annualized basis over that 10-year period? And then once I break that down, then I'm breaking that down into quarterly or annual sprints in order to hit my number consistently. And if I hit my number, I'm always looking at my lessons learned repository and say, what could I have done better to make that 50 to have been 100? Or if I miss the mark in any of my 1 or 2 year sprints, what am I doing that's allowing me to miss the mark that I need to improve in my business in order to be able to get there? So, Ms. Shepherd, if you would, query the audience, and as I move to the next slide, let's see how many people, when they started their business, knew what their number was, set that number, and also set a date to align with that number. Let's see what we get from a feedback to see what the level of commitment is or understanding was when you first got started. It's perfectly okay if you didn't have a number, be honest and say it. If you did have a number, that's good. Yes, I had a number, but I really didn't look at it in terms of breaking it down in sprints. Let's see what that turns out to be.
All right, let's see what we have. Because if they're anything like me, when I first started my business, I just wanted to make money. I had to make money. I was in a crunch. So let's see. All right, so how many people, what was your number when you first started your business? Did you have one? I can say honestly, when I started my first business, I did not. I did not. I was in survival mode, but I know I'm not the only one. So how many people can we say here?
So let me go ahead and move on to the next
Yeah,
slide while you're taking that poll, and
I
then that
will.
way we can keep it moving.
Yep,
But I'll
I'll let you
pause
know.
between the next slide, and at that point, you can sort of give us what the feedback was.
Absolutely. Sounds good.
Okay, so let's go back to the presentation screen, if you will. All right. So then let's talk about this, and this will be another opportunity. So you can sort of take these two polls at once, because we need to understand as a business owner and as an individual, if you are all about personal growth or personal excellence, you need to understand what the force multiplier effect is. And the force multiplier effect is A times M times T equals 1,000. A is your abilities. What type of gifts, talents, what type of education, training, or background do you come from as it relates to what your undertaking was when you started your business model, your business concept, or what it was you wanted to do, right? What type of money do you have? Do you have enough money in your coffers in order to say, hey, I am fully capitalized and I am well monetized in order to be able to grow and scale my business? What type of time do you have? This is the most valuable commodity on the face of the earth, is time. Because once it's spent, it's gone. You can't get it back. You can't recoup it. You can't roll the clock back. If it's gone, it's gone. So you need to be able to understand A times M times T equals 1,000. So what does that really mean? What that means is this right here. Rate yourself. Take a moment, audience, today. Rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. Rate yourself on your abilities. Am I a 5? Am I a 6? Am I an 8? Or am I a 9? As far as my abilities in the type of business or in the industry that I work in terms of where I need to be from a growth perspective. What type of money do I have? Is my business well financed? Are my books solid? Do I have a very strong customer base? Do I really understand the market verticals and opportunities? And am I spending enough time, as Miss Shepherd so eloquently stated when she first got started? Am I spending enough time, right, working on my business rather than in my business? I submit to you today that if you are working in your business, you got a job. If you're working on your business, you are a legitimate entrepreneur and you have the ability to scale and grow. So, mathematics taught us all the way back to the 6th grade when we probably started taking geometry for the first time. If you have two variables, you can always solve for the third, right? If you have two variables, you can always solve for the third, right? So, if your abilities, you rate yourself as an 8, or your money is a 9 and your time is a 9, you're at 648. Here's the reality check for everybody here today. If you are less than or equal to 500, you need to go back to the drawing board and rethink your vision. Am I making the right decision about where I am at with the launch and scale of my business? Sounds a little tough, but it's a reality check. If you are less than or equal to 500, rethink your vision. Doesn't mean you need to stop on your dream. It just means that you need to hit the reset button and go back and look at what you're doing. If you are between 500 and 750, you are ready to scale. There's just some adjustments you may need to make in your personal abilities or the capabilities of your business model in order to get to that next level. If you are greater than equal to 800, you are shift ready. You are in a position now as to where you're ready to take that next giant step in order to get to the next level. Because here's the thing about the 2 or 3 variables. If I have the ability and the money, I can buy the time. If I have the money and the time, I can buy and make an investment in getting the abilities. If I have the ability and the time, I can dedicate myself and I can make the money. If you have 2 of the variables, you can always solve for the third. So that's very, very important. So rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 and do the force multiplier effect approach and understand where you truly, truly are and work on yourself. Work on your vision, work on your dream, work on your business so that every year, quarter by quarter, semi-annually and annually, if not even on an annual basis, take stock of yourself. Where am I at in my own personal growth curve? Am I the type of leader that I need to be for my business? Is the force multiplier effect working in me? So that's where you want to be on that. So rate yourself and then we'll come back. So, Ms. Shepherd, can you jump back in and just share with us what the feedback was real quickly on those having a number?
Certainly. So I have Andrew Shepherd, who happens to be my cousin, said he had a number, but he didn't have a date.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
We also have, let's see, I also have Nadine James, who says she did not have, she had a number, but again, but no date. So
Okay.
that seems to be the going theme here.
Okay.
And I can certainly attest to that as well, because sometimes, I think a lot of entrepreneurs, we do the same thing. Like, I want to make $1 million, but like you said, we don't put a date on it. We want to make
Sure.
$1 million,
Sure.
or we'll even say this year, but with
Sure.
no plan, right?
Sure.
On
Absolutely.
how to get there, no roadmap.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, good. Let's go back to the presentation. Thank
All
you for participating for those that gave a response.
Yes.
So let's go to the next level. So why do founder-led companies fail to scale? That is the question that I am faced with a lot of times when I'm speaking, whether I'm speaking to a chamber of commerce, I'm speaking to a Rotary Club, I'm speaking to an economic development authority at their national conference, or I'm speaking to some type of economic development community association, or I'm speaking to the council of mayors in a certain state, or whatever the case may be. I often get this question, hey, Mr. Smith, man, what have you find to be maybe a common reason why founder-led companies fail to scale? And it's really, really over the 30 years that we have been doing this at Smith Group as a trusted business advisor, we've come to understand that there are three key factors in most cases that are crippling most startups or even most companies that are in that initial growth stage of between year 1 to year 5 that are usually the case. And so let's go in and jump right in at those three reasons. The three primary reasons that they fail is lack of infrastructure and systems. So they had a great concept. They knew what they wanted to do. They even might have known what some of their customer segments were, or who I could actually sell to, or who would want to buy my products. Is the federal government my customer? Are state agencies my customer? Am I B2B as far as selling business services to business services? Or am I B2C, business to the consumer, and I'm selling to individuals? They had a good idea of what they wanted to do, but they did not have the infrastructure and the systems to support it. So when they came out, they were doing very well, but then they found out, oh, I need this. Do I have the money? Oh, well, if I spend that money, then I won't be able to pay my payroll for the next couple of months. And these are challenges that you face. We've all faced them. So it's lack of infrastructure and systems. The second one is no strategic plan or objective. Sometimes when I ask individuals when they first come up to me or they're meeting me, or maybe I'm in an interview session with them to see if they want a Smith Group to help them out, then I said, pull out your business plan or pull out your strategic plan and tell me what your strategic plan and objectives are. Oh, well, I got it in my head. Wrong answer. If it's in your head, it's a dream. If it's on paper and it's documented, it's a plan. And you now have the ability to work your plan. Inside of your head won't work because there's a million decisions you got to make on a day-to-day basis that are going to cause you to make mistakes. And if you are not documented and seeing where you make your mistakes and making your adjustments and your pivots along the way, is more than likely you're going to repeat those mistakes continually. We call it fixes that fail. For example, if I'm missing my payroll and the money is a little low and I can't meet the payroll, the first thing I do is pull out my credit card and say, I'm only going to do this one time. So I go to my savings account and move money out of my savings account into my business account to pay my people. I'm only going to do this one time. You run into the same challenge 60, 90 days later. And because it was successful the first time, even though you don't want to do it because it worked, you go do it again. So now you have a repetitive process rather than fixing what the root cause of the problem was, as far as efficiencies, new customers, increasing your sales, whatever that was. If you had a strategic plan or a specific objective, you would know what to fix, when, where, and how. So you have misaligned processes and workflows. Your workflows and your processes are not documented. All too often, we go from it being a mom and pop shop or maybe 3 to 5 people when you first get started. Everybody knows what everybody's role is because, hey, it's simple. It's just us. But as you add employees and as you add customers, as you add relationships, the complications, right, and complexities within your processes and workflows is an ever-changing dynamic. And if you're not documenting those processes and workflows and going through projects as to where you are increasing the efficiencies in those processes and workflows, you're going to have bad service to your customers. You're going to have bad products. You're late delivering it to them. Maybe you got to come back and hit them with an extra charge that wasn't in the initial invoice that you sent to them because you don't have your processes and workflows documented. So those are the three primary reasons why that most founder-led companies fail. Going to and speaking specifically to lack of infrastructure and systems, right? The first thing you got to do, especially in this technologically advanced society that we live in today, in the business arena, you got to define your tech stack. You got to know what web applications you need, what third-party web applications you need. Am I going to maintain an on-premise server, or am I going to do it in the cloud? Am I going to have my own database? And are my own applications going to run on those databases? What type of operating system do I have? What type of systems do my people need to be trained on as far as how they can help me conduct my business? What type of networks do you have? Am I able to communicate with Microsoft if I do business with Microsoft? Am I able to communicate with IBM or some of the other enterprises that may be your customers? Even if it's a local banking institution, even if it's a local bakery or whatever, do I have the systems and do my customer have the systems that we can integrate our systems and I can deliver great services to them? So you have to start with defining your tech stack. If you have not looked at your tech stack and what it requires for you to be successful in your business, 9 times out of 10, you're struggling right now because you are not up to speed. And let me say this, with the advent of AI, artificial intelligence, your ticket to the game or your ticket to the dance is no longer acceptable at the door if you don't have systems today. You can't just run everything manually on paper. Paper doesn't exist anymore. Everything is in the digital world right now. And if you can't do business in the digital world, you're going to find in the next couple of 3 years, you won't be able to do business at all. So for those of you who have been working off of manual processes and you don't have them documented, you don't have your systems integrations in place, you're going to struggle and your revenue is going to drop through the floor. So understand your tech stack, understand what it is you need to be able to execute in order to do business at a highly efficient level. Now, at Smith Group, we are a Microsoft Cloud Solutions partner. We are a Google Cloud Solutions partner. We are an Amazon Web Services partner, and we are an Azure Directory partner. So we coach and educate our clients all the time, even on a small business, what they need to have in their tech stack in order to be efficient. Now, some salesperson might have tried to sell you some $50,000 or $30,000 customer relationship management tool. That does you no good if you don't have the money to invest in it. And especially it does you no good if your staff and your own capabilities are only going to use 5% or 10% of what that system is designed to do. So we also coach and educate and train our clients on, hey, start where you are at. Don't go out there and invest that type of money and you don't even have the sophistication, the education, or the skill set to be able to use that tool to its greatest capabilities. So we help define, and a lot of times we build custom web applications directly for our clients in our IT division that can do the same thing that Salesforce does, that does the same thing that Microsoft Dynamics does, that does the same thing that a lot of your CRMs do. We build custom web applications because we understand the challenges of small businesses, and you would only pay us 10 or 12% of what you would pay them. That's what we do because we understand the challenges of small to medium-sized businesses. So let's take a look at number 2. Number 2 is no strategic plan or objective. When you come on board with Smith Group or any of our business models that we work within, we start with you on an assessment. We spend time shoulder to shoulder with you. Hey, let's create a one-page strategic plan. The old days of having a 50 to 7,500 page business plan and strategic plan are gone. Business moves at a much faster clip these days. So in today's environment, it's usually a one pager. You will find that there are multi-billion-dollar corporations that don't have no strategic plan or business plan the size of a phone book. Even though they're multi-billion-dollar corporations, it may be 1 to 3 pages because they understand what level of execution they need to execute at in order to be successful in their business. So we do the same thing. We help you as a small business get all of your strategies and all of your business concepts dialed down and distilled to a 1-page or 2-page strategic plan. Where do we start? We start with your employees. Who are your top performing employees? If you see the column to the left right there, and what are their skill sets and capabilities? And we'll talk about that in a second, because that is where the value of your company lies. Not in you as a founder. It's in the people that support you. It's in the folks that help you be successful every day. The second most critical component, and the number one most critical component, is your customers. Who are my top 4 to 5 customers? Well, you talk to a lot of small, well, everybody's my customer. Everybody is not your customer. You need to know exactly what your customer looks like, all the way down to their lifestyle. Well, my customer is a black or white woman, usually between the ages of 25 and 35. She usually will be earning between $118,000 to $175,000 a year. She buys her coffee at Starbucks. She likes the red bottom shoe pumps, and she usually might purchase 3 to 5 pair a year. She maybe have 1 or 2 children, and she's college educated. That is what you call a buyer persona. You need to know your customers and even your business customers to that degree. And you need to understand who your top 3 to 5 customers are, because if you don't understand that, you're not listening to what we call the VOC, the voice of the customer. Your customer will tell you what their pain points are. They will tell you what they need from you. And then it's up to you to design your business model to make that pain go away, to provide a solution to their problems. And then most importantly, we get over to you, Mr. and Mrs. Founder. We talk about the shareholders and stakeholders, right? So now let's talk about the core values. What are the core values and beliefs of your company? Don't let it sound like a whole bunch of fluff. Well, we're built on high integrity. Oh, well, we're 100% customer satisfaction. That's what sounds good to you. What do you need to know about your customer that sounds good to them, about something that you are unwavering on? If you are unwavering on integrity, say that we guarantee 100% pricing even if we lose money. If you say that you're big on efficiency and on-time deliverables, say that we do what we say we're going to do when we say we're going to do it. Those are the types of things that you need to understand about living the core values of your business. And all of your employees and everybody in your business need to understand what those core values are. And then they can actually execute on the category that says your purpose. What is your why? Why did you even start your business? Did you start it because you wanted to make more money? Did you start it because at the end of the day, I got frustrated with corporate? Or did you start it with a specific purpose in mind? I want to build a legacy for my children. I want to build a legacy that's going to last beyond just being about money. I want to be able to have my employees appreciate working in my company and have improved lives. I want to be able to help so many young people become college educated after they work in my business, or even if they're working in my business, how do I actually pass the torch and help them maybe one day start their own business? They don't need to work for me forever. What is your why? Live your why. And then on that, let's now talk about the dream with the deadline, right? You're going to break those down, your why and your overall goals and objectives in your strategic plan, into a 1 to 3 year timeline. We talked about those sprints, right? 50 million out in 10 years, break that down year by year, quarter by quarter, and semi-annually. And so on a 1 to 3 year projection, you need to know what your revenue is going to be. And you need to know what your profit margins are going to be. What is your market capital in cash going to be? You need to know that, and you need to be able to understand it. And then you break that down into a 1 year period. And we look at your gross profit margins. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. Now that you understand this, what are the day-to-day activities that are critical to the success of your business? What are the key thrusts and capabilities in your 1 to 3 year plan that you need to have that you're going to make as top priorities so that you can be successful in your business? And as you identify new market opportunities, what are the key initiatives that we're going to identify as a company that'll help us get to the next level? This is what we do in Smith Group. This is how we help small businesses understand how to scale their businesses to the next level. You're not going to get this when you go out to this type of training, educational content, when you go out to your little community outreach meeting that a nonprofit might be sponsoring. You're not going to get this when you go to a SCORE outreach meeting because they don't teach this. They don't teach it. They'll give you a lot of information. Hey, go to this website, go to the SBA website, download this information. They don't sit shoulder to shoulder with you and show you how to execute your plan and live your vision. They're very good from an informational perspective, and I don't take anything away from them. They are a very significant value proposition in the community, but they are only providers of information. I call it programming for the sake of programming is what I call it. So at the end of the day, let's get beyond programming for the sake of programming, and let's get back to what it takes to be successful. So, Ms. Shepherd, I don't know what happened, but it doesn't appear, but I can go ahead and click it down here. But it looks like, there we go. There we go. We're back. All right, good enough. So now let's talk about the misaligned processes and workflows, right? So in Smith Group, when we go through this exercise, we help you go through something we call a process accountability chart exercise. What are the key processes and workflows that are critical to the success of your business? So we help you figure out and identify and name those processes. Then we're going to identify the person accountable for those processes, because accountability is key. Because when a process or workflow breaks down, it ain't everybody's problem to fix. It's the person that's accountable and responsible for that process, and you go to them and you work out what we need to do. If indeed you need to do a brainstorming session and say, hey, in our weekly operations meeting, let's help this department, this organization, this individual, they're struggling with their process and it's causing an impact to our customers. So then you're going to identify KPIs, key performance indicators. Do we need to do it faster? Do we need to do it better? Do we need to make it a little bit cheaper and affordable for the customer because they're starting to feel like we're overpriced based upon the level of service we're providing them, based upon the type of product that they're receiving. So we help you understand from a fundamental perspective what the processes and workflows you need, and we help you understand that by the process accountability chart exercise. Now, if you've been in business for 2 to 3 years, sometimes it's difficult to hit the pause button a little bit and break this down in some breakout sessions. But what my clients have come to understand is if they don't make it an imperative to work out their processes and workflows, don't think it's just going to fix itself over time, then their level of success will diminish quarterly, semi-annually, annually, and then they'll be out of business. They always come back and say, Mr. Smith, man, although we was a little frustrated with it at first and we didn't quite understand it, we are so thankful and we greatly appreciate you helping us understand our processes because it's made us all sleep so much better at night. The level of frustration and tension inside of the company has gone way down. Everybody's happy about doing their job now. And thank you so much for that. And so with that being the case, the next thing you want to do is, okay, no accountability to job functions. So we take you through a functions accountability chart exercise. What are the functions of the leading people in your company? Whether that be you, the head of the company as a founder, an officer, someone you may have a COO, CFO, whether it's your marketing department, your VP of operations, who is accountable for each and every individual function in your business, and what are the KPIs that they're responsible for, because they need to be measured as well. And at that particular point in time, what are the results and the outcomes that you're looking for? If they are doing their job to the extent that they need to, how is it affecting our profit and loss statement? How is it showing up on our balance sheet so that we know that things are getting better for us as a company? So with that being the case, I'm going to speed it along because we're coming up on an hour here. So let me move, right? So your KPI dashboard. This is your control panel for exponential growth. Key performance indicators are vital instruments in your business dashboard to help you as a business owner understand whether or not your business is successful and on the road to profitability. We all, those of us who've owned cars and have owned cars, you know that when that check engine light comes on, it's a problem. You getting ready to spend some money because something is broke. Now I got to call the dealership. And if you're driving a high-end car, you know that when that light came on, you probably get ready to go drop $500 to $800 just to get the service light to go off and for them to run a diagnostic on it. So understand the same thing applies to your business. Your check engine light, be careful of that. Understand your sales, your profit, your costs and expenses. How fast are you growing? The speed of growth in your company. Some people think that, hey, I just want to skyrocket and go through the roof. Companies that skyrocket and go through the roof usually will implode at a certain point in time because they have not put in the right infrastructure and systems to support that growth. Growth must be measured. It must be calculated, and you must be intentional. You might want to take on 5 new customers, but if your infrastructure and the people you have in your business are having a difficult time managing the 3 customers or 4 customers you have, 5 new customers will kill your customer service and the quality of your business. So understand exactly what your dashboard is telling you. And what we do inside of Smith Group is we help you understand that at the end of the day, cash is king. A lot of folks say, Mr. Smith, man, I need can you help me? I need a $50,000 cash infusion in my business. I got a new opportunity with a new customer, but I don't have the infrastructure. I need a new technology or whatever. Can you take me to a banker? Do you have an investor that will help put some money in my company? Now, in most of the cases, I said, before we go see someone else, let's take a look at your cash conversion cycle. You probably already have it in your business on your balance sheets. You just don't know that the money is there. Well, what do you mean? Well, what I mean is, let's look at the 7 levers that you can pull inside of your business before you ever even go talk to a banker, before I ever even introduce you to one of my investors, right? So, if you look at A, it says shorten the sales cycle. How can I shorten the sales cycle to make money come in faster? Shorten the delivery cycle, whether that's the delivery of services if you're a service-related business model, or the delivery of your products if you're a product-related business model. How can I shorten the billing and payment cycle? If my clients are all on net 30, net 60, or net 90, how can I reduce that to next 30 and say, I'll give you a 10% discount if you pay your invoice at a net 30? You thinking, oh man, I'm giving up 10%. You might be looking at it from giving up 10%, but 10% is pennies when it comes to the fact that now your bank account is filling up faster than it was before. Your revenue cycles have now increased, and now you want to shorten your make and production inventory. So when you look at your costs of goods and services sold, you look at your accounts receivables. I have been able to work with clients in a very short amount of time to say, hey, if you can just bite the bullet and let's work with the cash conversion cycle, understanding that over the next 30 to 45 days, I'm more than sure I can find $50,000 on your books. And they are shocked beyond belief when at the end of that 30 to 60 days, they come back and it's $100,000 there, or it's 109. Man, wow, this is incredible. I never looked at it like this before, Mr. Smith. Well, you don't have the maturity level yet because you're still growing, but cash is king, and understand how to manage your cash conversion cycles is a critical component to your KPI dashboards and what you're looking at. So what we also do is we help you understand the financial ratios inside of your business. As a founder, you don't have to be a CPA, you don't have to be a bookkeeper, and you don't have to have CFO credentials, but you must have a fundamental understanding of how to read a cash flow statement, an income statement or profit and loss statement, and your balance sheet, because there's only 3 to 4 lines on each one of those documents that are important to you as a founder. You ain't got to look at all of the other numbers as far as the amortization schedule. What is this? What is that? No, there are only 3 to 4 lines on each one of those documents that are important to you as a founder. And they all speak to profitability, leverage, how much debt you have, efficiency, how efficiency you are running your business, liquidity, how much working capital do you have in the bank, and be able to quantify the number of days working capital you have in the bank. Am I able to run my business for the next 6 months with no problems? That's working capital. If you don't know that, it's more than likely that you ain't got but a 6 to 8 week runway and you are almost out of cash, but you don't know it. If one customer decides they can't pay you, 2 customers decide they can't pay you, will you survive beyond those 60 to 90 days? In most cases, most businesses don't even know that. Although they feel like every time the cash register's ringing, I'm making money. Every time the cash register rings don't necessarily mean you're making money. Revenue does not equal profits. I'll say that again. Revenue does not equal profits. And at the end of the day, what is the overall valuation of your company? You should know that as a founder. We usually will start with the gross margin ratio. The gross margin ratio will tell you whether or not your company is at a point as to where it can sustain itself, right? And it shows how much profit the company makes after paying its costs and expenses. So we sit down with founders and CEO to help get them to what we call financial literacy, so that you can understand what the numbers really, really mean to you on the books of your company and why that's important for you to know those numbers. So for us, we design customized KPI dashboards for our clients that work with us. We can do that in a Power BI, Power Business Intelligence platform. If you're a Microsoft tenant, we also have Tableau server licenses, and we can produce these dashboards for you and make them visible to you, so that way, hey, Mr. Smith, could you create a web app for me and my people, or me and my top managers, so that I can have a dashboard, so that I don't have to go and drill down those numbers as far as having my bookkeeper or my CPA send me my financials, and then I got to go through and just highlight it? Can you create a dashboard for me so that I know what my numbers are? Sure, not a problem. So most of the time, you want to know how many new customers you got. You want to know what your sales revenue is year to date. What is the average weekly sales revenue? You also, too, want to know, what is the COV? What is the customer lifetime value of my average customers? What does it actually cost me to acquire a customer? What is my customer acquisition cost? We create these dashboards all the time for our customers, so that way your hair's not on fire and you don't have that sinking feeling in the pit of your stomach about knowing whether or not I can continue to be profitable in my business. So these are the things that as a founder you need to have. And again, this is part of your tech stack. This is part of the infrastructure. This is part of the strategies that you need to have, because if you don't know the numbers, you are blind. And if you're blind, then you're almost out of business and you just don't know it. They ain't turned out the lights yet. And I don't say that to mean to be disrespectful, but I say that to say that always be aware of the financial health of your business. And we help you understand those things in a very simple way. It's not rocket science. You don't have to go back to school to become a chartered financial analyst, but as a business founder and owner, and as a legitimate CEO, if you're making the shift, I can guarantee you, if you pick up the phone and call any prominent CEO of a major corporation right now, if you call them at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning and woke them up out of a dead sleep to say, what is the book value of your company? What are your current ratios in your company in terms of how you're doing? Well, my debt to expenses ratio is this. My debt to income ratios is that. My average revenue per customer is X or Y. They know it because they live it each and every day. In a publicly traded company, they know it because they got to be able to have that conversation with the shareholders. For you as a privately held company, whether you are a C Corp or an LLC, you should want to know that yourself because you're your own shareholder. You are your own stakeholder. So those numbers is what drives whether or not you're going to be able to go out to that 10-year period and hit that 50, that $100 million mark that we talked about, right? So the CEO shift is all about culture. Always be passing the baton. Learn how to delegate, right? And let me say this in order to shatter the mindset of some early stage founders. If you think you can do everything yourself, give up now. Give up now because you can't. If you want to build a scalable business, you need to be grooming the people that work with you on a day-to-day basis to take on more and more of your responsibilities. Delegate, delegate, delegate. Because at the end of the day, that's what will allow you as a founder or a CEO to be a real entrepreneur working on his or her business rather than working in his or her business. So many founders are so far down in the weeds dealing with the day-to-day that they can't even see what their future needs to be. They're not out there building relationships and identifying new market opportunities because they are a slave to the business. Pass the torch, delegate. And I don't know why that slide will not pop up. It shows every time, but it won't come up. So we got to fix that next time. Automate. Try to automate your tech stack as much as you can. We call it RPA reduction. Robotic process automation is reducing the manual things that you do, such as some types of emails in your customer relation management tools, the ability to provide reporting and invoices for your clients, those things that take up 10 minutes here, an hour and a half there, 2 hours over here. In most cases, in today's tech stacks, you can automate all of those processes and give you back 2 to 3 hours of your day. Now I can go build some new relationships. Also, too, the ability to empower. You should be allowing folks to participate in your dream, your hope. We call it a shared vision. When someone feels like that they are part of something bigger, greater than themselves, they want to be a part of it. As a successful champion athlete and a successful business owner, the greatest joy that I get is seeing other people be successful. When I see that light bulb come on in the back of their head and that their eyes light up and I see them walking with a new level of energy, I know that I've done my job empowering them to want to be at their absolute best, which makes my company its absolute best. And it all goes back to the culture. Your culture will outstrip and drive your strategy all day long. Folks enjoy working at Smith Group. They don't leave. The folks that I've had working with me over the years, they are still with me because they say to me, and I take it very humbly, and I take it very seriously, that I've invested enough in them. They say, it ain't nowhere else like this. I'm not going. I've had people try to recruit my people. Hey, man, I even offered them more money. They still wouldn't leave. I said, you can try to recruit them, but I value my people. I pour into my people. I invest in my people. And for the ones that got to a certain point over the years, they are out there doing their own thing, and I support them all day, every day, because I want to see them be at the mountaintop because they gave their efforts to me. The least that I can do is reinvest them and pay it forward and help get them to where they need to be. So empower, delegate, and automate as many of your processes and workflows as you possibly can. So with that being the case, thank you for attending today. I went maybe 2 minutes over. If you'd like to talk to me, you have my phone number there, 980-221-9377. If it's at info@Smith Group, you can reach me there. We just spun up a new business model called the E-Cube COE. That's the education, economic development, and entrepreneurship centers of excellence. When I sat as the executive entrepreneur in resident at North Carolina A&T State for 3 semesters, I helped them attain their certification as a center of excellence in entrepreneurship and innovation. One of the greatest assignments that I had when they paid me to come in and help get them to that next level so that they could have the same entrepreneurship culture as a Harvard, as a Stanford, as a University of Texas at Austin, as a Cal Polytech, and some of the other driving innovation hubs around this country. And it was a great job, and I really, really enjoyed it. We greatly support the NBBOA. I am really excited to be in the Founders Circle and be the pioneer of the Founders Circle for the NBBOA. I am enjoying every moment working with Ms. Shepherd, and I am excited and looking forward to working with those of you who are willing to make the CEO shift. As I said at the very beginning, it's not easy. It's going to be hard. But I submit to you, if you give it 100%, we will make sure that you get more than 100% of value from us, and your business will change. If you look at my website, smithgroup.com, and you go all the way to the bottom, it will tell you that over the last 30 years, all of our clients have experienced a 2x, a 5x, or a 10x growth multiple by working with us as a company. That means that they've either doubled their revenue within 1 to 3 years, had 5 times their revenue in 5 years, and over a 7-year period, 10 times the revenue that they started. So we're not talking 7 figures. We're now talking 8, 9, and 10-figure companies that I am proud to say that I have been a part of helping people get to that next level. Because here's the thing. In order to do what you've never done before, you have to become someone you have never been before. I'll say that again. In order to do what you've never done before, you're going to have to become someone you've never been before. And that means making the CEO shift in mindset, in your day-to-day activities, and everything you need to do to be successful. So you can go ahead and take it down now, Ms. Shepherd, and we can come back and close out. I know we went a little bit over time, but if there's any questions or whatever the case may be, then I would certainly be more than happy to take on a few questions for those that chose to hang out with us. You're muted, Ms. Shepherd.
You know, I had to mute because it was so good, and I knew I would be over here making all kinds of that's right. I'd be over here making all kinds of comments, so I had to make sure that I muted myself. So no, wasn't that was this was high level. This was high level, right? Now imagine if we have time to actually spend and have like an hour for a month, an hour per week, per month, to just kind of pull from Mr. Smith's expertise, right? That's what this is all about. This has been the sneak peek of what we are calling the CEO shift. We have a program that we've designed for next month. And before you drop off, let me tell you something. We have a Lunch and Learn series that we're going to begin in August of on August the 14th of this year. And you hear the high level of you hear the quality of what you would be able to get if you decide to be a part of our Lunch and Learn series. I hope you all have your seatbelts on, because this price that what I'm about to give you is absolutely incredible. And I'm not trying to sound like a car salesman or anything like that, but you heard what you just heard, right? So beginning on August the 14th, we're going to have a Lunch and Learn series on Thursdays from 11:30 to 12:30. We're doing it for a month, and we are doing it at a price for early bird special. We're doing it at a price of $50. Did you all hear what I just said? $50 for 4 weeks of this level of expertise as an early bird special. And we're running that special. I'll run that special all the way up until August the 7th, 1 week before. After that, the price is going to go up to $75. When Mr. Smith and I, when we were going back and forth and we were talking about the presentation yesterday, I told him, I said, this is master class level stuff. This is master class level material. And had I had this kind of information when I started my business in 2010, I promise you, I would be a millionaire today. You know, I know I would. I know I would have made seven figures, probably would have sold that business and moved on to something else. But we live and we learn. We live and we learn. I'm trying to see if I have a question here. I do have a question from the audience before I, get back to my sales pitch. But listen, I just wanted to talk to you. I just really, really want you to understand that what the opportunity that we're giving here it's very rare, because for this level of information, people charge thousands of dollars. I have seen it. You see all these pictures online. You see people, they come with their free webinar, and then you go to the free webinar, and the actual class is $2,500, $5,000, $10,000. And I'm telling you, what Mr. Smith is offering, I've been to some of those classes, and he's offering the same level of expertise. As a matter of fact, in my opinion, what he has to offer is better than what some of these people are charging five figures for. Now, let me get to this question. Somebody wants to know, what do you recommend, Mr. Smith, for a solopreneur, right? A solopreneur who's making good money. How how do you shift your mind to get out of that place where it's your baby? I'm improvising a little bit, where it's your baby, right? So it's hard for that person to delegate. They know they need to delegate, but there's a struggle there. Like, what do you recommend for someone like that, to kind of loosen the reins a little bit and get into that trust factor so that they can become more productive?
Great question. Great question. Great question. That's a great question. As a solopreneur, one of the things that is key to you really just taking that next step forward as far as the CEO shift in mindset is, again, understanding that it is virtually impossible for you to do everything yourself. The first thing you got to do is just acknowledge that fact alone. I can't do all of this myself. And then start with small scale levels of delegation. Find a virtual assistant that you can hand off some of the medial tasks, administrative tasks that you do. Just because it's easy for you to do, don't necessarily mean you need to be doing it. So just because it's easy, and just because you think, well, it only going to take me 10 minutes, but think about 10 of those tasks times 10 minutes, now it's 100 minutes gone. And you now have moved away from something you could have been focusing your time on. So what I will say is this right here. Find the medial type task, something that can be handed off to a virtual assistant. Also, too, someone that you may collaborate with and you communicate with, and they're part of your network that may have a specific expertise. Don't be afraid to tap into their skills. And listen, I need you to do this for me or whatever. What are you going to charge me to do it? I know it might be something that maybe you have time for, maybe you don't. And they say, okay, I could do that for $150, $200 or whatever. And it's going to take me 2 to 3 days to do it. If they are better at it than you are, and you know they're better at it than you are, pay them the $150 right out of the gate. Let them do what they do. Let them bring that back to you. And then your job is to be able to understand how to make those strategic decisions here or there in order to bring that back to you. What you are training your mind to do is you're now training your mind to be in a position as to where the more people that come into your company, once you move beyond just being a solopreneur, you now have already begun the practice of delegating. So rather than it going out, now it's just going in. So you're not paying that money out anymore. It's an internal investment to someone that's already an employee and bringing value to you and your company. As you plan your growth scale, you need to be able to plan your growth scale. Okay, I'm a solopreneur today. When will I be able to take on another person? Oh, well, it might take me 6 months. Plan for it. Plan for it. 6 months from now, I need one more person. A year from now, I need 2 more people. Plan for it and calculate your working capital and your cash flows to be able to meet it. Now, let me say one other thing real quickly. When Ms. Shepherd talked about I could have made $1 million. Here's something that those of us who have earned millions of dollars understand. Your first million is the hardest million you'll ever make. My mentor said that to me before I made my first million, and I really didn't get it at the time. But now that I am here where I am today, I know it resonates heavily with me. The first million is the hardest million you will ever make. However, here's the beautiful part about that. Once you have made your first million, you now have a millionaire's mindset and you're never broke again the rest of your life. You are never broke again the rest of your life. Why are you never broke again the rest of your life? Is because you know how to make $1 million. And you are convinced that you can do it because you've done it before. Once you know how to make $1 million, it's just a matter of the business model, the customer segment, the marketing cycles, the economy. It doesn't matter. Business is business. I don't care whether you ask Antoine Smith to make a widget, whether you ask him to sell a pair of pink pumps to a lady or whatever the case may be, or whether you want him to create his own business. The process is the process. Just learn how to participate in the process. And a dear friend of mine who is a great executive that runs her own project management firm. She might be on, she might not. I invited her. Ms. Sheila Mullen, she's the CEO of Now Elevate. Great project manager, tremendous expertise, just an amazing businesswoman. And she says to me, and I told her I was going to use it, so she might laugh about this. Learn how to manage multiple commas and zeros.
I know that.
One of the things she said to me, she said, Mr. Smith, you know, I love working with you and you passing off some of your projects to help, let us help you with or whatever, because we partner with them or whatever. She said, but what I've grown to understand and know is most small business owners are only managing maybe 1 or 2 commas in a whole and literally no zeros. She said, Mr. Smith, what I like about you is you help them get to the multiple commas and the multiple zeros. That's where we want to be. Your first million will be the hardest million you ever make. But after that, you'll never be broke again the rest of your life.
That's good. That's good. And I just wanted to just add my 2 cents on it. You know, as someone who has walked that path of having a struggle with delegating, listen, you have to trust yourself. You have to trust yourself. You have to trust yourself. You have to trust your skill level. Trust your judgment. You know more than anybody what your vision is, what you're trying to accomplish. You trust yourself. We say it's because we don't trust other people. But if you really look internally, sometimes you just don't trust your decision making. So that's an area psychologically you just have to get past. I have a virtual assistant now, Maria, and I'm telling you, she is absolutely amazing. She does things that I don't even think about, but it saves me so much time. She keeps me together, and it's worth the investment. But again, I trusted. You know, I get offers all the time. I get inboxes all the time. Everybody wants to come and be my virtual assistant. But there was just something about her and her skill level that said she's the one. Trust that. Don't be afraid and don't overthink it. Trust what you sense. Trust your skill level. You know what you need, and relax and just make the decision. It'll be one of the best decisions you'll ever make. So I just wanted to add that 2 cents. So do we have any more questions? I'm getting a lot of wows, and we love it, and this is so good. And I'm a solopreneur. I'm not quite there yet, but this is what I needed to hear. We're also on Facebook. We're quoting some of your quotes, Mr. Smith. So this is really good. I see cash is king. I type this. Do you have a streamlined strategic plan? Revenue does not mean profit. So so people are getting the message. But here's what I want to know, you all. Are you ready to take your business to the next level? If you are making money and you're ready to make more, and we're going back to the beginning. What's your why? Right? Some of us, we want to be able to secure our family for generations. Our motto here at NBBOA is bridging the wealth gap through entrepreneurship. Black people are on the bottom of the wealth gap in America, and it's not because we're broke. It's not because we're broke. We have $1.9 trillion. Did you hear me? I said with a T, in buying power. It is not because we're broke. It is because we do not have assets. I believe that entrepreneurship and responsible entrepreneurship and learning how to run your business and run it right. Listen, I believe that this is one of the ways that we can begin, and learning what to do with your profits is one of the ways that we can turn right around and begin to make a dent in the racial wealth gap.
Ms. Shepherd,
Entrepreneurship is key. Yes.
you know what's broke?
What's that?
The mindset is broke.
There you go.
That's what's broke.
That's what it
The
is.
mindset that is broke. You fix the mindset, everything else will fall into place.
That's it.
And let me say this, and I mean it in the most sincere way. And please don't take what I'm about to say as being arrogant or verbose or conceited in any type of way, because people that know me and that I'm a faith-driven person know that I'm not that way.
Right.
But the Bible or the scripture says that in most cases, the enemy of a man is those of his own household. So anybody within your circle of influence that does not have the same type of mindset that we're talking about here and now, get as far away from them as you possibly can, because they're toxic.
Mm-hmm.
All they're going to have is negative comments about, well, I told you you shouldn't have never started the business. Or they're going to say, well, I think you're taking on too much. Or, well, you know, I don't know anything about that, so I don't know why you did it. There's going to be plenty of negative. Get those people as far away from you as you possibly can. And even if they happen to be members of your own household, love them the same way you normally would. Just don't involve them in your business decisions. Don't even talk to them about business, because they won't get it. They will never get it.
That's right.
For me, and again, I'm not saying this to be arrogant. I am psychologically and emotionally unemployable. I can't work for anybody else.
Yeah.
Because 30 years has shown me that I have to be able to control my own destiny. You're not going to say, okay, well, what if a company decided they wanted to pay you $3 billion a year? Well, you know what they're going to be able to dictate to me? When I can come and go, what I can and cannot say, what I can and cannot do, who I choose to network with, what type of lifestyle they live. They're going to dictate those terms to me, because them writing that check gives them that right.
That's right.
I'm not giving that up. I'm not giving that up. And I know my own personal quantifiable value. So therefore, I am psychologically and emotionally unemployable. I work hard. I work around the clock pretty much 6 days a week. But the thing is, because of the fact that I control my own time, if I decide that I want to take some time off and go to St. Thomas in the Virgin Islands and just lay back for 2-3 weeks, just getting some recharge and some retrospective on my life, to meditate on what life really, really means to me and what my next is going to be, I can do that, and I ain't got to ask nobody for no permission.
That's right.
And I know even when I'm there, I know that my businesses are back here making money.
That part.
So it's the mindset that's broke. Start there. And at the end of the day, it takes effort. You're going to have to be intentional about developing the mindset.
That's right.
You must. It's required. So with that being the case, again, this is winning stuff. To be quite honest with you, I'm basically giving it away.
Yeah.
I'm basically giving it away. And that's okay, because I want you to have it. Because let me say this and then we'll close. When I started at the beginning of this presentation saying that this is a critical time in business, in this country, as far as what the current administration is doing, what the world economy is doing, if you don't get while the getting is good right now over the next 3 to 5 years, you're not going to be part of the conversation, because in the next 3 to 5 years, this country, the United States, will be a country of haves and have-nots.
Yeah.
Which one are you going to be, a have or have not? And if you get into this game, the great game of business, as Jack Stack calls it, and you indoctrinate what we're going to be teaching you, even if it's just over these 4 series of lunch and learns. I'm going to give you what you need in these lunch and learns over the next month, starting August the 14th, that'll help you grow your business ×3 in the next 6 to 8 months. And if not, call me back and we'll give you 100% refund on your money. If I don't help you grow your business by 3 times in the next 6 to 8 months, just by what you learn on the Lunch and Learn series, we ain't even talking about other breakout workout sessions. Call me and we'll give you 100% of your money back.
That's right. And I think, I think we already know from what we heard today, what we're going to get. And as I said, I'm going to be right here front and center. And please don't think just because, and I want to add this as well, just even if you're a startup, please don't think that just because, well, I'm not trying to scale to my first 7 or 8 figures yet. But guess what? It goes back to mindset. You still need to be in the room with people who think on a higher level. Instead of disqualifying yourself, participate in these lunch and learns. All right, please participate, because what I'm going to do, I'm going to send out the link. I'm going to send out the Eventbrite so you can sign up, and I want to see you there. We're going to be pushing it. Because this is so necessary. You have to allude to what Mr. Smith just said. Your who you are surrounded with matters.
You're always and you can try it if you want to. Try it if you want to test me on this. Most individuals are plus or minus 10% of their network in terms of their net worth. Your net worth is equal to plus or minus 10% of your network.
That's right.
So if you look at your network, and the average people in your network earn between $150,000 a year, that means you probably making around 135, or the most you're making 145, 150, or 160 yourself, because that's your network. Always network up, right?
Always.
Let me give you this analogy, and this is really, really the closeout here. I want everybody to do this that's watching the screen. Put your 2 hands out in front of you with the space in between. Whatever hand you have on top is your dream or your vision. Whatever hand you have on the bottom is your current reality, right? Imagine there's a big, powerful rubber band around both hands, right?
Yeah.
Always have your dream and your vision put so much tension on your current reality that it pulls it up.
Come on.
Don't let your current reality create so much pressure and tension that it pulls your dream down. Put the pressure on your current reality. Yes. Increase your network. Be around people that think smarter than you, think more strategically than you, have more resources than you do, and learn how to add value to that relationship, and they will welcome you into their club because you bring value. So make your dream and your vision pull your current reality up. Don't let it be the other way around. Put the pressure on your current reality.
I love it.
That is a CEO shift.
Yes. So again, please don't limit yourself. Don't limit yourself. I have done in the past. I listen, I will be around millionaires in a minute. Millionaires and billionaires in a minute, because that's where I want to go. So I'm not sitting around saying, well, I don't have it yet, so I don't fit in, or I don't belong in the room. No, get in the room. Get in the room. That's where you learn. Show me your friends. Ray, that's one thing I got from Ray Lewis when I was working with the United Athletes Foundation. He said, you show me your friends, I'll show you your future. Every time. You hang around 4 or 5 broke, you hang around 5 broke people, you're going to be the 6th. Your network matters. So don't look at yourself as a little peon. Don't look at yourself like the Bible says, as a grasshopper. Don't be like the children of Israel and look at yourselves as grasshoppers when God already told you that you can possess the land. Don't do that. Don't choke yourself out. Don't pass up on this opportunity to get this level of knowledge, right? To get this level of knowledge for a fraction. I can't even call it a fraction, you guys. I'm telling you, this price deserves it. It needs a comma in it. Okay, it really does. It needs a comma. But because Mr. Smith has a spirit of service, right? And he believes in what we're doing here at NBBOA. He has made himself available for a fraction, and that's only because of lack of a better word, of the cost. I want you to sign up, and I want you to schedule to put on your schedule lunch and learn from starting on August the 14th at 11 from 11:30 to 12:30, the same time that we're here today. All right, so listen, I'm going to put the Eventbrite link in the comments on all of my pages. I'm so sorry for those that are on my main page. We had a little bit of technical difficulty, but I was able to share the broadcast from my business page to my personal page. But so listen, but we're gonna make sure that you get the replay. We're going to make sure we fix everything, but I don't want you to miss this opportunity, okay? So I'm going to put the Eventbrite link in the comments so you can sign up, and I'm going to stay on you about signing up too. You all, and those of you that follow me, you know I'm going to do it. But at any rate, Mr. Smith, thank you so much for your pour today and what you've poured into us. It's just this was just so good. This was so good. I have so many notes here that I've been writing, and I was writing and saying wow and oomph and making all the noises while we were behind the scenes. So we certainly enjoyed everything that you've had to say today. And listen, I'll be in touch with each and every one of you. Also, listen, if you want to learn more about the National Black Business Owners Association, please visit us at www.nbboa.org. We have programs for everyone. We have programs for startups, for those who are transitioning, who want to grow and scale. We have something for everyone now. All right. And you see the quality of what we bring, and as far as the educational piece with NBBOA. All right. And with that said, we're going to close out. Thank you again, you all, for joining us, and we will see you soon. All right. Bye.